What's up guys, this is Astranox. It's time for me to showcase ae-NINGNING. This is a limited hero from the aespa collaboration in Epic 7. This is a versatile support hero that can help your team deal more damage. She counters barrier with barrier inversion. She can strip the enemy, she can stun. It's quite a hero. Gonna be right after this. This video is brought to you by Amazon Appstore and Amazon Coins. If you're going to spend for ae-NINGNING, you should do so by using Amazon Coins. You can save up to 20% on in-game purchases from games who are on the Amazon App Store. The great news is that Epic 7 is now available on it, and you can start using Amazon Coins to straight up get more out of what you're usually spending or end up with more spare cash instead. It's a win-win scenario. It's very easy to get the best savings on the Amazon App Store and Epic 7. Just go down below and use my link and follow the instructions. If you use my link below, it helps me but also allows you to still get the best possible discounts. You can get up to 20% off, which is really awesome. Get a full 20% discount if you buy 50k coins. If you buy 10,000 Amazon coins for $82, they will give you $100 in the game, and so on, with a bunch of discounts for different budgets. It's really easy to start saving. There's just 3 steps. 1. Get your Amazon coins. 2. Get Epic 7 from the Amazon App Store on your favorite device, Android phone or tablet. Or even better, get Amazon App Store now on Windows 11 and play Epic 7 directly from your PC easily with no complications. Currently available for the US and then globally. That's awesome. Once you've done that, just log into Epic 7 through the Amazon App Store. Just as easy as that. Why pay the full amount when you can get up to a nice 20% discount? There's really no reason not to use this method when it comes down to spending money in Epic 7. Check out my link in the description or comments section down below. Get Amazon App Store, get some Amazon coins, and start saving now. Let's begin with my build for ae-NINGNING. So as you can see, I have her on speed immunity. There are other builds. I've talked about it in my summon build video. I'm thinking counter immunity, counter hit, whatever 2-piece set of your choosing. Maybe it could be a broken 2-piece. Really depends on what type of stat line you're aiming for and what gear you have. So you need a lot of effectiveness. Effectiveness is super important on her, but speed as well. Now you want to have some survivability because you don't want her to drop early on, even though she might have done most of her job in the early turns. But if she can stick around and continuously use the skill number 2 to support an ally, so they can have attack buff, so they can get their combationist pushed and land a few stuns here and there with the skill number 1, that would be really good. Now counter set would definitely be viable on her, because if she stuns the target, well, she's getting 20% combationist push. She could potentially cut because of that. In a team enemies combo, she might be able to cut between their heroes. Also, if you have Water's Origin on her, that could help you out with the counter build, or you could have them individually. Now in this battle, I'm supporting Archdemon's Shadow, and it's a good way. Like, you could be running a Soul Weaver of your choice, could be running a Knight with Aureus, and then an attack base damage dealer, and with ae-NINGNING, right? So I feel more comfortable with a setup like this compared to, let's say, a double attack base damage dealers plus a Knight. I don't really have any sustain unless the heroes by themselves have some sort of sustain. So I can last longer in a battle. I don't have to worry too much if a hero's health dips. So that's good. I prefer it like this, right? So ae-NINGNING, with her skill number 3, you open up, right? If they have any sort of barrier on their team, you're going to be able to get 100% combationist push after skill ups. That means you're guaranteeing yourself to get second turn. So you can follow up with skill 2 or skill 1. It really depends. Maybe you have the souls, maybe you want the stun so bad or something like that. Skill number 2 after skill up has a 2-turn cooldown, which is insane because it's giving a 2-turn attack buff for the highest attacker on your team. Very nice. So you make her faster, right? And you're going to be able to have 100% uptime on that attack buff on that highest attacker in your team. And that's good. That is definitely good for offense. You are pushing back the target's, combationist. so it helps. And also you're pushing the combativeness of that ally with the high stack by 30%. So, you know, if you're doing it on their attack, under a damage dealer, you're going to be able to get quite a few more turns with your attack damage dealer compared to their damage dealer, and you're going to be able to just end up dealing more damage, especially with that that attack buff, right? So she's a Soul Weaver. She can have access to other Soul Weaver artifacts. It really depends what you are lacking. She could be... She's not going to be a healer, but she can be a semi-healer, right? With the right artifacts. She could be cleansing. She could be doing various things, right? She could have the Water's Origin. She could be wearing her own artifact, which, by the way, you know, in a not a control environment, but versus an actual player, being able to, you know, delete some of their souls is very powerful. Between 15 to 20 of their souls, depending on how many, you know, limit breaks you have with the enhanced level on it. But that artifact definitely allows you to put pressure with the faster cycling from the combativeness push, but also because they're going to be struggled with souls, and you don't have to use like a billion in your team comp. You could be running 2 of that Soul Weaver limited artifact, and you're going to be able to really make them soul starved, and souls are super strong in Epic 7, so that could definitely be a viable strategy, right? Now, do I feel comfortable bringing her along, you know, with 2 attack-based damage dealers, or, you know, 2 damage dealers? One has to be attack-based because she's giving attack buff, right? I feel like it's a bit too squishy. Like I said, I feel more confident with with a Soul Weaver in there, have some healing. But if you feel like you just need to survive the early turns because maybe the enemy is, you know, a speed team, if you're able to just survive what they're throwing at you early on in the battle, like maybe you want to bring along a designer a little bit instead of a Soul Weaver, because, you know, removing those debuffs is going to be game changing, because those debuffs are allowing them to maybe, you know, have Summertime Isaria, be able to plant bombs and then detonate those, and then that cycle is going to be really dangerous. So whatever debuffs they're trying to land, it could be like defense break, you need to not let them have that, right? So replacing the Soul Weaver by maybe Meteor Warwick, designer a little bit, stuff like that might be a better choice. So it really depends what you're going against, right? It really depends what you're going against. So Senya is definitely a solid hero to bring along with ae-NINGNING. I mean, you don't even have to wear the exclusive equipment that gives Senya greater attack buff, right? After she uses skill number 3, which is what I'm wearing. But, you know, you could have attack buff from ae-NINGNING before Senya uses the skill number 3, and as you saw, the damage is very high. Big damage out of that. So you could be wearing a different exclusive equipment on Senya, like the one that replenish her life when she uses the skill number 1. Yeah, or the one that makes her barrier thicker. So ae-NINGNING is a hero that, I mean, by the way, the skill 2 animation looks awesome. I mean, the skill 3 animation is insane, but skill 2 animation is really on point though, like really nice. You guys let us know what you guys think about her design in the comment section. Her skill number 1, you know, the stuns, they're definitely handy when they're landing. Now, if you're soul burning, you know, you could potentially, you know, secure that stun unless it gets resisted, right? And that's so strong. I mean, if you're just saving your souls for ae-NINGNING, iWinter is in the same boat, right? You soul burn, 100% chance on the skill number 1. You might be able to just build more effectiveness on a hero like ae-NINGNING compared to iWinter. So that's something to keep in mind. With 114 base speed, of course, you're not going to have the best of speed. The enemy can open against you, cripple you in all sorts of ways. So you definitely have to be careful against which team you're bringing her. Now, ae-NINGNING, if they don't have any sorts of barrier, she does lose a lot of value because not getting her 100% combativeness push, because they have a barrier, when she uses the skill number 3, cannot guarantee her the S3 and to the S2. So that makes her lose a lot of steam, and that gives the enemy time for them to potentially take her out, disable her. and that's gonna be bad, right? If it allows the enemy to disable her, or maybe put enable to be buff debuff on your ally with the highest attack, then you're not gonna be able to, you know, get that attack buff, which is pretty important, and you kind of want that to be happening, right? Now the skill 3, yes, it does the barrier inversion. So if you're fighting a team that has team-wide barrier, if that's going to be happening throughout the battle, I'm talking like the in, which if you're fighting a player in World Arena, they could just straight up not use the skill 2, but it's not going to be something that they can easily do, because maybe you're crippling them with debuffs and then they need to use the skill 2 to actually remove those debuffs, to cleanse, right? So they might not have the luxury to avoid using a team-wide barrier. Now Senya, if you're fighting a Senya, well, that right there is a team-wide barrier from her passive, and that's not something that they can avoid you triggering, right? So ae-NINGNING is going to be very powerful against that. So any hero that is in the game or that will be released in the future that has some sort of like team-wide barrier, or straight up just the protection set from Golem, which is gonna get more and more popular, right? So you're gonna be seeing team-wide barrier more often, but Fallen Cecilia and the protection, you know, barrier set, the thing is, it's only happening one time in the battle. Now Fallen Cecilia, on the other hand, she is reapplying barrier constantly on the hero with the lowest amount of health. There's that. Let's say they have Bastion or Perlucia, that's only happening once, but if they are running the Cecilia artifact, then that's a barrier that's constantly being reapplied. So you can use that to your advantage and have the skill 3, you know, have the full 100% combat genius push. Also, you might want to, in some case, delay the skill number 3, right? But it's really good that the skill 2 basically just will have 100% uptime on your highest attacker. So that's 50% attack, and that's making that attacker that much more powerful. You are also pushing their combat genius and pushing back the combat genius of the enemy that you target with that skill number 2. So quite a few things are happening for a skill number 2 on a 2-turn cooldown, which is something I definitely like, and I feel like she's constantly like doing something, right? That skill 1 is not like just like low damage number, low damage. It's also potentially stunning. It's 40% chance after skill up, 100% chance if you soul burn. Hopefully it doesn't get resisted, but if you land that against like their damage dealer, they're not going to be rocking much, you know, effect resistance. So that can definitely be a good strategy. Now 15% innate resist is always something we have to worry about. So of course, also you don't want to be attacking a ice hero. Now her skill number 2, there are definitely times where I'd like to use the skill number 2 versus a hero that's about to go, a hero that's very detrimental if it ends up going, right? It's gonna mess you up good. It's gonna, you know, do a chain combo that is gonna be very dangerous. Like let's say Pera, if she goes and there's a Summertime Isaria in their team, well, you know, now you're potentially trying to land the skill number 2 versus an ice hero, which you're gonna have a 50% chance to miss against unless you have some hit chance. So that is something to keep in mind. But sometimes you might want to take the gamble, because it's just one of those things that's part of the skill 2, but that's not the point of the skill number 2. Like, that's not the whole point. You're also still giving attack buff to the highest attacker in your team, and you're pushing their combat just by 30%. So that 30% CR push for the enemy, that's just icing on the cake, right? And also, that means that attack-based hero, part of your team, you know, they can just be that much slower, and you're just going to be able to push them right after. They're going to be able to go right after ae-NINGNING, so that is pretty dangerous. Like, it doesn't give much opportunity for the enemy to land, let's say, unable to buff, debuff, or disable your hero. If you're speed tight in your team, like let's say you have a hero that goes before, that can cleanse, debuff, maybe puts immunity afterward, right? Then you have ae-NINGNING go, and then that skill number 2 of ae-NINGNING is gonna push the combat just of your ally with the highest attack, and that hero is just going to go right after ae-NINGNING. That's a very dangerous combination right there. And if you're able to make ae-NINGNING tanky enough for her to be sort of like part of a turn number 2 team, then I feel like you could definitely be quite successful. That barrier inversion is quite a bit of damage as well. The thicker the barrier, more damage you're dealing, and she's stripping to buff, right? And you know, that's 100% CR push into the skill number 2, and the stuns right after that every time she gets a turn is quite deadly. I'd like to hear what you guys think about all that in the comment section. That's it for this one. I'm Astranox. Good luck with all ya do. Peace out for now.